Hey, says here, and today we have the CEO and co-founder of Instant Paddle, Christoffer Granfeld. Did he really create the portable paddle court? I had a chance to meet with you at Racket X. You had a booth there, and I found your product like super interesting. But let's first talk about you, your background in paddle.
Sure. Yeah. First of all, my name is Christopher, and I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden. My greatest accomplishment is my four kids, and apart from that, I've been actually been working within the tech industry for 20 years. But then in 2020, during the boom in Sweden, I got to meet my colleague that had an idea, and he didn't really do anything about it until we start talking about it. And we went partner around it, and that's where Instant Paddle was born.
So, did you play paddle before, or did you even see paddle, or when were you introduced to paddle?
Yeah, of course. I mean, from like 2015, 16, paddle was growing tremendously in Sweden, and it got its boom during COVID as well. So I was playing a lot like a recreational player. I really thought I was a really good player in the beginning, but
Mhm.
then the more I played, the more I started to learn that this is an easy game to start learning how to play, but it's almost impossible to master.
Oh yeah, I hear that. When you first start playing, you're playing all the time. You feel like you're like playing so well in the master until you find somebody that's plays so much better, and you
Yeah,
realize, oh boy, I got a long way to go.
yeah.
So did you play any other racket sports prior?
Yeah, I was, playing tennis. I done a lot of sports when I was a kid. I was mainly a golfer. I could actually call me a pretty good golfer back in the days. But I was playing a lot of tennis, basketball, but I was not pro or anything. I was just trying to hit the ball over the net.
So what made you get into this to this business? You know, I know your friend talked a little bit about it, but what made you say, "Hey, look, I'm going to make modular, portable, or how would you call it, like non-permanent courts?"
Yeah, so basically we're world unique mobile or portable or modular court, right?
Okay.
And I think me being an entrepreneur for so many years have learned sometimes that when you feel something and that you see something, actually do something about it. And I think the greatest sort of uh, synergy between me and my 20-year-old younger friend is that he was frustrated because during the boom in Sweden, there was so much people playing, but it was a lot of premium stamp to it. It was very expensive to play. It was really hard to get a time. And he's coming from a background being a soccer professional, working a lot with kids and families and societies, and seeing like the what kind of impact the sport can do for the communities. And he wanted to do something about it. So basically, he asked a question like, does it have to be so complicated to build a traditional or to build a paddle court?
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so what is this void filling, or who is this court for?
Yeah, so basically, the court is for all the recreational players that wants to have fun with the game, that wants to have accessibility and just get to, I mean, either start just playing, trying it out, but also all the intermediate players just want to have a go. It's also, of course, for elite players just want to have a fun, game, because you can. I mean, our court is delivering the game, but like just as an example, with in Spain, they started off in playing with concrete walls. Now it's glass panels, right?
Yeah.
Or if you look at tennis sport, you have surface like it's grass or clay or hard true. So it's basically about securing that paddle is a type of game where you use the walls, and when you have a different type of rule system, that that is the same for our courts. But what we did is that we basically made sure to become more mobile. The story is that a lot of traditional courts, as well as traditional portable courts still needs a lot of handling, a lot of heavy lift weighting machines, and a lot of ground constructions or permits. But our solution don't need that, and that makes our court perfect in some, I mean, some in some cases, and not, of course, we're not relevant for all projects out there.
Okay, Christopher, who is this paddle court for?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I already told you guys about us wanting to have onboarding from the intermediate and recreational play, but I also really want to emphasize on the fact like how should you best utilize or use this court? And a good example is for Glen Eagles Hotel in Scotland. They were interested to bring in paddle to their members. They didn't have any permits. They didn't want to invest large money because they didn't have the data, right? So what they did is that they put two instant paddle courts on their existing tennis court, and during one season, they got enough data, enough interest, and really great response. So now they're building a permanent paddle arena at their premises. Another great example is, tennis clubs are suffering today, having older members sometimes being very reluctant to new sports, whereas the tennis needs to be broadened out to become more racket friendly, if you know what I mean. And it's very tough sometimes economically for tennis clubs to invest in, scrapping a tennis for paddle because they don't have the data. So tennis clubs, for instance, they can have one or two courts up and just get the data. And in UK, we had 3 months us there at the Torquay Club in tennis in UK, and they got 60 new members in 3 months, and it was totally new target groups coming into their club. And I think that the future, no matter what, is about being open, about trying out and giving sort of the accessibility. If it's pickle, paddle, or tennis, it doesn't matter. It's about getting people the joy of socializing as many hours at a club, and then let them choose what kind of sport they want to play.
Wow, that's great. Now, that's clubs. What if it was just a normal person, not a club, that is interested in doing something like this? What preparations would they need before moving forward with this?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because a lot of times, if you look at a person that is entrepreneurial, they need to basically, first of all, just be very curious about finding space. Let's say they walk back and forth to the kids' school and they see a dead area that is not used. It's all about them, being curious about how can I get this space, and in what ways can I get this space for usage of paddle. And I think that a lot of people walk around sometimes thinking, oh, here, it should be great, right? But I mean, I really know that by just doing it, trying out, calling the people that are in charge of these land, they are really happy about somebody taking charge of that, because nobody wants dead areas. Everybody wants dead areas to become active and social and fun for the social impact part. So I think it's like, on a general term, it's like, if you think it, find out and do it. And
Right.
there's a lot of ways.
Yeah, so it's more location, right? Land. That's probably the first step, correct? And
The
approaching
gold
the
the
owner
gold
and
the
see if you
gold
can
of
secure it.
paddle, yeah, and the gold of paddle is space and land. And when you do the inventory of space, then you will know, am I going to build traditional, or am I going to build with instant paddle? It's pretty simple, and I will guide them. If they think instant paddle in the wrong location, I will tell them that they should do the traditional way.
Wow, that's great. That's a great information for somebody interested in pursuing this. We get a lot of calls inquiring about creating clubs, and I found your core very interesting because I think, especially in areas that you have to educate people what paddle is,
Yeah.
being able to put up a court very quickly, not go through the whole process of permits and everything, and just kind of with a minimum investment, and educate the people in the area. Kind of see if the people are engaging and reacting to paddle, and then at
Mhm.
that point, if you feel it is, at that point you can move forward to the second stage and opening up a club. So I found
Yeah.
that very very interesting. Have you seen people doing that?
Yeah. And I think I want to give the listeners an idea, like, what are we? because we basically made some changes into the material. A traditional court is often built with glass panels. Only the glass panels itself weigh around 250 kilos. And that means that it's a lot of heavyweight construction, whereas you also, in order to like sort of bolt down the court, you need permits to do that. As soon as
Right.
you bolt down the court, you need some kind of permits, like
So
major permits.
let's talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about
Yeah,
the court.
yeah.
You said glass is replaced by what material?
Yeah, so basically, what we tested out in the factory is polycarbonate panels. And it's basically like plexi, like plastic, hard plastic panels. And it's called polycarbonates, which are unbreakable, but also they weigh, instead of the 250 kilos, they weigh around 90 kilos.
Wow. Okay,
And that
so
means that two people can carry this panel without having heavyweight machines.
how about its durability and how does it react to the ball compared to glass?
So basically, all the recreational players, I mean, we have had hundreds of thousands of people playing us over 3.5 years now. Nobody's really reacting to it or noticing it or thinking
Okay.
about it. Because
Okay.
in the recreational type of play, like you use them and whatever, but you don't have the expectancy of the perfection. Okay. And I think that the number one thing sometimes is not always go for the perfection, but always sometimes go for the good enough in order to secure what we are having today.
So the
Okay.
average player is not going to notice anything.
No, I mean, they come in and they can get the same bounce when you hit a lot of shots. And when the
Okay.
elite players comes in, they will, of course, notice a bit of difference, but they can adjust very fast because they are,
Yeah.
good players.
Yeah, yeah. Just like all clubs have different, turfs, different courts, and
Yeah,
speed and is different, and you have to
yeah.
adjust a little bit.
And you
Gotcha,
come
gotcha.
in
Okay.
and you play like 10 minutes and you adjust like to the floor, you adjust to the panel or whatever, and then you have a good game.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so how about the turf? I know you have turf, traditionally. What do you guys use for your platform there?
Yeah, so basically the invention we have or the sort of uniqueness is our cage. We can use any turf, but when we come on like a parking lot, and we're going to be there for a season, let's say, the good, the best turf to use if you're going to move it around is tiles. It's like plastic tiles, whereas we today have VersaCourt, which is US based company, and they use like their sports court are all over the place in the US, like all the 3-on-3 basketball, the tennis, outdoor for the field hockey or whatever. And they have like a good grip. They have being innovative within the sports to secure the short stops and non-injuries as well as
Yeah.
everything. And then of course the bounce. And when it comes to the bounce, we give a bit better of a bounce. Like it's a bit faster, our court
Okay.
on the tiles, but the recreational players really more appreciate that because it's a bit easier.
Okay.
Whereas the pros, again, they adjust.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the subflooring because I think that's important. This is made to go on top of, let's say, asphalt, correct?
Yeah. So basically, all type of surface which is hard from the start,
Okay.
we can just build it up on there, and the only thing we need to do is adjustment to make sure that it's even, leveled out.
That's what I was going to ask you because most, asphalt, let's say if you're going to do it at a park, if you're going to do it at a parking lot or somewhere, they're not going to be perfectly level. So how do you deal with that? You're still going to have to do some type of subflooring where you're leveling it off. And how do you guys do that?
Yeah. So there are numbers of different ways, and basically, the VersaCore guys that work with this every day because they always need the level floor and hard surface,
Mhm.
right? But one way to do it on a parking lot is stone base. You have like zero point 0.8 gravel stone, like it could be like parking material,
Mhm.
like
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and then you level it out and you water it and then you pack it, and you whack it, like you press it really hard, so it becomes like a temporary concrete. It becomes like
Gotcha.
hard, but it's very easy to restore. Uh,
So the other
yeah.
question is, how about weather-wise? So when it rains, how does that affect the sub base there?
Yeah, so basically, first of all, the tiles that we're using have holes within, and they are drainage by themselves.
Okay,
So, like, we don't
but
get
the
the
sub,
puddles.
but the sub bottom it doesn't erode.
No, because you have like a rubber mat, uh, you know, over the sort of stone base,
Okay,
so you
okay,
cover it,
gotcha,
right? So that is not a problem at all.
gotcha. Okay, that's smart. Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And as long as you
So
have a somewhat of a pitch, the water will
yeah,
flow one way.
exactly, exactly.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about
And
so
I
you
just want to
you could
say
put
what's interesting. I mean, we've done like 160 installs in 18 countries now, and the interesting part is that the groundwork cost for this leveling out is around $5,000 to $10,000,
okay,
which means that for many people that work with traditional solutions, pay way more. I can tell
yeah,
you that.
yeah. Yep, yep. No, I get it. Okay, so you're looking at 5 to 10 versus let's say 18 to 20 or 22,000. A traditional.
I would say more. I don't know what the
Oh
prices
wow,
in Europe, but like if you go and are going to install one or two courts in Europe, you're looking at 30, 40, $50,000 for one
wow.
court. Yeah,
Down here, one core is gonna be anywhere from 18 to maybe 25 at the most. You
yeah,
know, so I guess roughly the same. I guess it depends in the area that you're at here in the
yeah,
U.S.
yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's pretty good. So let's talk about the actual core. I mean, what is it made out of? Is it made of metal? Is it galvanized? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so our manufacturer is Paracord Deluxe, which is one of the world largest manufacturer. I mean, they're sending out 3,000 quartz a year worldwide. And we are using the exact same material as traditional quartz when it comes to galvanized steel and their high quality type of structure. The only thing we have changed is the glass to polycarbonate, and then we can use different type of floorings.
Gotcha. Okay, so now is this secured to the asphalt or to whatever you're doing, or it's not?
So when we are on asphalt, we don't usually secure it or bolt it, but there are
Okay.
options to bolt it if needed. If you're on a like location where it's let's say windy or stuff like that, you can secure it and do it permanently.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the net and poles, right? So you need a net, and then you have the poles on the side. How are
Yeah.
the poles secured to the ground? Do you have to bolt those down?
No, so nothing is to be bolted. And basically, what we have done is that we have a structure of a T, which has a stable function. It's pretty heavy. That is like on each corner, and then we have the net that is tightening up. But we come up to the right level, and we don't need to bolt it. But we do have like clambers. So like if you look at the entrance of the paddle court, we can secure it in the cage itself, but we don't need to bolt it into the ground.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. Gotcha. All right. I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So are these cords really they're non-permanent, correct? And so this is but are they really portable? Would you say it's portable? How long will it take to take down and how long does
Yeah.
it take to put up?
Yeah.
Not
So so
including the
so
subflooring.
what we usually say to the clients is they can build it up in 4 to 6 hours. The record is a UK team, Game for Paddle, that have built it up in 2 hours and 30 minutes.
So when you say
Uh,
4 to 6, is that two people, three
no,
people,
it's
four
it's
people?
for people. So you
Okay.
need one people with a practical brain, and then you need three muscles.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Now, do you need any type of special equipment to put these up or just,
No,
human power?
it's basically like an IKEA version of a quart, but we don't forget to send the screws, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the so it's a clickable setup with no tools, and basically how it works is that when you connect the two first panels, like the corner, and then you basically connect the panel with the leg because we have legs around the quart.
Yep.
Then you have the first setup, and then you just continue panel by panel and securing it with a leg to the ground. And when the leg is secured to the ground, there you get the stability of the court.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so how many courts of these you have? Well, to the world. How many courts do you
So
have out there?
yeah, so basically we have 160. We've done
Wow,
160 installations in
wow,
18 countries, and it's going to be soon 20 countries.
wow.
Um, and the fun part, I think, is that we come from Sweden. It was a crazy boom. We ended up in an overgrowth. I think that we had 4,000 courts over a period. I think it's down to like maybe 2,500. But what's very interesting, from my perspective, is to see the growth of paddle in all of the countries outside, and only in the UK, like in London area, we have 14 courts in the London area with instant paddle.
Wow. Oh, okay. So, do you have any courts down here in the U.S.?
We have, within 3 weeks, we are going to assemble our first court in New York at the West Side Tennis Club, which is an iconic place for the tennis lovers. Hosted, I think, 60 US Open and some Davis Cup as well.
Wow, that's amazing. I hope you get one down here in Florida. I'd love
Yeah,
to actually see it and play on it and see how it plays. I
yeah,
play paddle, 3, 4 times a week. I'm dying to see how that court plays.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about cost. How much does one of these things cost? How long will it take to get delivered to your location? And do you guys have a warehouse here in the U.S.?
Yeah, all good questions. The cost of a court is $41,000,
Okay.
and it's basically connected to with the delivery of uh, I would say 4 weeks, depending, because the ship itself, we're shipping from Alicante in Spain,
Okay.
and the journey there is only like 1 week. But
Okay.
it's all about how to get a slot in the container business, because the container, by every week it's different story of
Yeah.
both cost and also timing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when we sell our courts to the States or overseas, we give the right expectancy of getting the client to confirm, but also when they are confirmed, we can find out like the delivery time.
Gotcha.
Over to the question of like how are we going to build up our market in the US? That's the like billion-dollar question for many, but because there are very few manufacturers that wants to start heavily without having the right number, secured, um, and therefore it's all about building up storages. Whereas our strategy is that we're activating resellers and distributors in the US, um, basically having them to have one or three or five courts, whereas we're going to have many resellers that is going to be representing us, having us in their portfolio, because the number one purpose for us being there is how can we activate an area? How can we, you know, be we actually the ones that make this sport more accessible instead of waiting for permits, for finance, and getting the longer journey around.
Well, that's a good question. Finance. Do you guys have finance for the courts? Do you guys provide
The,
that?
the finance, you mean leasing?
Yeah, leasing or financing it out. Do you guys have a third party company that does that, or do
Yeah,
you guys do it?
yeah, we do, but due to the world economics right now, it's not the perfect ideal for the customers. Back in the days when we started, I would say 80-90% of the deals were made with leasing.
Wow.
But right now, the interest rates and also the sort of security that you need to have is not often as applicable as it was some years ago.
Right, right, right. So what's next for Instant Paddle? I mean, what's the goal for Instant Paddle in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, I got a baby instant paddle. pursued an idea that I really loved because it was all about how can we make it more accessible? How can we make a social impact about broaden the sport and getting people to try the sport at certain areas? How can we make the sport more central? I mean, in Europe, people drive like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Um, During this journey, my passion have grown for the activity and the activation rather than paddle only. So we're actually launching now something called instant courts, and that is because if we just change the flooring of our cage, we can have basketball and soccer, and all of a
Um,
sudden have a lot of sports being played at our cage, right?
Gotcha.
So
Multiple
my
sports.
future is all about getting people, I mean, building dream team of circles of people that are passionate about making social impact, getting, getting land and space that is not used and making sure that they get used with our solution.
Wow, that's great. I mean, especially the multi-sport, I'm seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
Being able to put basketball, the paddle, volleyball, all those multiple sports is
Yeah.
what I can see in residential. Now, you said you had 160 courts out. Is that in a residential or commercial? What is the ratio there?
I don't know. I mean, we sell like 2 to 4 quarts here and there. Like if a client asks me, like, "Hey, I have a site. I have a long-term site with. I want to build 6, 8 quarts." I actually recommend them to go with the traditional quarts
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
then our advantages are basically gone. But a lot of existing business that want to add something to their, like if it's a hotel or university or their site, we install like 1 to 4 quarts as an addition to. So the normal, I would say, like in UK, they have like 2 to 4 quarts. That is sort of a venue, but not more because then you can just build traditional.
All right, right. So you're doing more commercial stuff then,
Yeah,
I would
and
say.
I think and I think that like I'm really after the councils, the park and recreations, and the
Yeah,
communities, but they really hard to work and get into. Like
I
I'm
know.
not going to give up, right? But it's really taking a long time, and everybody just say yes, but nothing happens. So
Right, right.
that is
I
my
see that too.
main mission. Is like to really get them to understand how many sites we have out there that is not used or is really bad, right? Why can't we
Yeah.
just make sure to get operators to get access to that so they can get some activity in live there?
Yeah, maybe that's part of the business, being
Yeah,
able to have somebody have that information to help people get into those areas because that's kind of key. You have
yeah,
somebody that doesn't have experience, knows paddle, knows where to get a court from you, but
yeah,
really doesn't know the process of trying to work with a town,
yeah,
parks, and put a court up there.
yeah,
And maybe they go down there, you talk to them, and then it's kind of like a dead end for them.
yeah. I mean,
So
also
maybe
like
some support and help.
if you look at all the car parking operators, they have so many spaces that are not they're not using, and
Yeah.
they are so open to rev shares because they just want to commercialize that space, but they can't lease it out for more than 2 years.
Right.
So in that sense, if you look at an operator side in the US, for instance, also in Europe, they need to like get funding of like, you know, 2 million, 3 million, $5 million pre-money to hope for getting that back in 3 to 5 years.
Right. So it
So
makes
there's
sense.
different type of place, and I think that what's essential to understand is that I don't see myself as a challenger or a competitor to other courts out there. We're just a perfect alternative for the perfect suited place. So I'm not here to say that this court is the best in the world. You have to use it, but it's a damn good alternative when you can't use the other options.
I think you're right. I think that's really smart. I
Yeah.
mean, okay. Christopher, thank you for coming on Paddle Smash. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we close this out?
No, I just want to give you a shout out and your partner because I met you guys at Racket X, and I think that was like the best energy that I got from the whole 3 days. So I
Great.
really like what you guys are doing at Ultra, and I really like what you guys are about. So just happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Julian would be here, but he had another obligation at the time, but I'll
Yeah.
let him know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
Christopher, thank you so much, and I
Thank
want to
you.
wish you all the luck. Okay.
We are All Things Paddle.